Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frostpunk. I am the Alchemical Rabbit, and it is just me flying solo for today. This week, we're just going to do a little bit of a mini-series. I wanted to touch on this game when it came out months ago earlier this year. Just didn't get time to do it. Absolutely loved this game. Played the first couple of scenarios to completion. I know there is a new one for Winterholm. I haven't played that yet. But so what we are doing is we are filling in the space between Total War 2, Tomb Kings with Atoli, and our next co-op strategy series I'll be beginning next week. So this is just going to be a little three-parter. But if you're not familiar with this game, we are going to be playing A New Home, the main story. So if you are not familiar with this game, it is something of a city builder crisis management simulator. We'll get more into the mechanics as we play. Just to warn you, it's a little bit of a depressing game. Not terrible or really, well, some may call it terrible. It's not graphic or anything, but it is a very depressing game, so you have been warned. Without further ado, A New Home, main story. To preserve civilization from the chaos of its own downfall, we have fled to the end of the world. We will have to adapt to survive. Who will we become in that process? I'm just going to play it normal. Some buildings, such as the cookhouse and medical posts, stop working if the temperature inside drops below chilly. And this will all mean more to you if you're not familiar with the game in just a little while. But yes, so we are working to build a city, but we are also working to heat that city. As you can probably already tell, this game has a bit of an ice aesthetic to it, and that is not to our benefit. We will be trying to keep this city alive and thriving as long as possible, hopefully to the end of the game. We'll see if we get there this week or not. I have beaten this a couple of times. I will say that was a few months ago, and I know there have been updates to the game, however.
We roam the still, cold world. No horizon in sight. The rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress. Until the frost stopped it all. Suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow. And with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained, came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope that pushed us forward. Slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
And that is the generator. A New Home. We fled from London, I will not attempt an accent, and crossed the sea to reach the frozen north. On the way, our convoy was hit by a blizzard and was scattered. A handful of us managed to reach the site of this generator, only to find it frozen solid and abandoned. Why is no one else here? Did any of our people survive the blizzard? Are there any others out there? Whatever we do, we should expect the worst now that the world as we knew it has crumbled. We have to survive. And welcome to Frostpunk. Alright. Let's see how much the game's tutorializing for me today. We are immediately going to hit the spacebar and pause time. So, this is Frostpunk. This little crater that you're seeing in front of you, this is where we have to build our city. Each of the scenarios has a different map with different resources, needs, requirements, problems, yada yada yada, but this is the standard one. We can zoom, yada, etc. This construct here in the center, the generator, this is going to be our lifeblood through this game. This will generate heat, this is what will keep us alive, but it will not create enough heat for us, not without some work. For example, it is currently negative 20 degrees Celsius outside. Centigrade? What's the difference between Celsius and centigrade? I actually don't know. So as we can see, right now, it is chilly. There's a low risk of getting ill, but there is still a risk. We can go to very low risk and completely preventing that. We will get there eventually. We also have cold, very cold, and freezing. We want to try and avoid this where people are at all times. The yellow dots we see here, these are our people. If we click on them, we can get a little bit of information. We can see most of them are alone in this world, although some brought some family. We can see Agnes Pinty here actually brought her spouse and all 3 of her children, so good for her. So we are going to have to build things, and things are gonna get colder. It's only day 1. We have resources, food, and food rations. Food gets turned into food rations, and people eat it. Right now, we have the problem of we have 80 settlers, and all of them are homeless. And when night comes, that would be bad, because it will get colder at night. I sneezed. Apologies. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is look at what buildings we have. We have basic tents. Excuse me. Basic tents. We have medical posts. We have some food. We have some resourcing. And we have technology workshops, which are used for research. First thing we need, however, is going to be food. Now you'll notice I have to build in circles around the generator. That is to my benefit because this thing's going to radiate heat later, and we're going to want to make sure we get as much of that as possible. So, nice little grids that help us figure things out. We are going to place things a little carefully. This building here, by the way, this is just our stockpile. This is where we store things. So that has to be there by default. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to build 3 cities over... Oh, no. That's right. It has been a while since I played this. So we don't have much in the way of resources right now. We only have wood. So instead, let's see what resources are around the map. There's a few things scattered that we can collect immediately. We can see like these wooden crates, the steel wreckage, and these piles of coal. That will get us a lot of the resources that we need. Coal, wood, and steel. Steam cores we'll talk about later. Now, how do we do this? Well, we can't just tell people... Well, we can tell people to come gather from these things. That sucks, though, because it's slow and it takes a lot of people. So instead, I think we're going to build off of this road here. We're going to go out about 10 spaces, 10 wood, and they will begin constructing that road. At the end of that road, though, we're going to put this gathering post you see right here. This gathering post, you see, it has a bit of an AoE. And what that is what resources around it that are just out it will gather. So by placing it there, we're going to go ahead and gather wood crates, and we will gather steel. Notice no coal, however. So how do we deal with that? We have an economy button. That was added since I played. So let's go ahead and hit play. We have to fight the cold, stockpile some coal for the generator, it tells us. Well then, we know that there's coal out here and here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to assign 15 of my 80 people, 50 of whom are just generic workers with no real skills. They are just going to go out into the snow and collect this coal and walk it back and forth. Not the most efficient, but because it's by itself and it's not too cold yet, that should be okay for us. Once we gather a bit more resources, our next priority is going to be getting a resource hut over here as well as building a few houses to help us keep warm tonight. So let's just go ahead and fast forward a quick bit. We can see they've built out the road. There they are building up the gathering hut, and we pause immediately again. We're going to open our book of laws. This is our skill tree, basically. We start out with a few different choices: emergency shifts, fighting arenas, some food rationing choices, medical treatment, cemeteries, yada yada yada. You might think me a monster, but I'm going to pay attention first and foremost to child labor. Now, it's the end of the world. Let's be fair here. We need everybody to work. Now, we have the option, we can put all the children in shelters. And by doing that, all the children will be safe, hope will be restored, and that stat will be good for all of us. But if we go to safe jobs, such as gathering and cooking, the children should be fine, and it'll give us a lot more workers. Now, hope will fall, and children might be injured, but it's the end of the world. So we're going to sign that into law immediately. You can see down here at the bottom, hope immediately drops. We do want to make sure that doesn't go too low, and that discontent does not go too high. We can deal with a little discontent and a little lost hope. So immediately I come over to this building, the gathering post. I'm going to assign children in it. I know it sounds terrible, but see, now we're going to generate 1 steel and 5 wood per hour. We put workers there, we get the exact same thing. So children are just as good as workers. There's just some hope concerns. The other nice thing about putting them over here is you'll notice the gathering posts are insulated. So immediately the children who are there are not getting sick. And that is to our benefit. So, with that, you can see we don't have enough resources to build anything else. So we're going to unfreeze time. And children have begun working immediately. Now what we're hoping is, as time progresses through the first day, you can see the little time there, they will stop working here. Yep, right about there. Now, there is no roof over their heads. You will occasionally get these quests. Captain, people are understandably concerned about the lack of shelter. They're falling ill from sleeping outside in the terrible cold. We better do something about it. So, when you have a need, sometimes this will come up. And these are quests. And if we can make promises. Now, we can say, no, don't give me this quest, and discontent will just go up, because we can't do it. Or we can say, in 2 days, we'll provide shelter for 40 people, that's 4 houses. Or we'll shelter everybody in 2 days. We're going to have plenty of wood, we're going to go for the everybody. If we failed, however, there would be massive consequences to both hope and discontent. But, inversely, by taking the quests and completing them, we also get benefits. Like I said, we're going to go for the difficult one. That's okay. We are going to build that a little bit. Actually, we're going to build the first couple of houses now just to help me with some planning. So we're going to put one house here, here, and here. Yes. And we'll talk a little bit more about my building strategy as things get invariably colder. So there, we spent all of our wood on building 3 houses. That'll house 30 people, and building 1 road out to these resources. Now, in the evening, you will notice that free time occurs. People will just go do things. It'll help them. They'll eat food, they'll rest, they'll get some entertainment later, that sort of thing. Captain, when facing demands, remember this. People usually look for the quickest solution, not the best one. You don't have to agree to everything they ask for. If you fix the problem your way, it's fine. So that's just the game saying, hey, sometimes people are going to ask you for crap. Don't rush yourself. Now, night is closing. It's now 8 p.m. As soon as night falls, we will activate the generator for the first time. The idea being, as you can see, people who are staying in these houses at least have livable conditions. These people who will be sleeping outside will not, unless we can make this area livable. Which we are going to do, I believe that, yep, so we get these icons. They'll freeze to death if we don't turn it on. So we are going to go in and activate the first level of the generator. Yes, it's just explaining temperature, unfreezing time. Boom. Looks toasty. We can open up this and we can see immediately that things are warming up. It takes the generator a little bit of time to heat up. But once it has, you can see it emits an aura around itself that helps counter the environment. So even these people who are sleeping outside tonight, they're still sleeping in livable warmth. So it's like, I don't know, I know we're in Celsius here, but in Fahrenheit it'd probably be, what, in the 50s? Probably colder. You're wearing a lot of furs. So we basically cycle through the night, just to show off a little bit of detail. We can see everyone sort of huddled down here in little piles for warmth. It's a little sad, don't worry guys, just the one night. It's just the one night. One person has already gotten sick, though. That is a concern. We will need to keep an eye on that. So it'll tell you statuses of people down here. So we run through the night. A bunch of people are now sick. We will deal with that today. Don't worry, don't worry. Now, every 24 hours we can introduce a new law. Now, you'll notice that we have unlocked the ability to give children all jobs. This includes very dangerous ones. We will not be taking that. Instead, what we will be doing is we are going to look at emergency shifts. So emergency shifts basically force people at a building to work there for 24 hours. There's a good argument I should take that the first before child labor. I don't. Because by taking the emergency shift, what we can do is activate it here. These people are now going to work for 24 hours. It has raised discontent because I'm making children work for a full day. But we're going to get 3 times more resources, which is, I'm going to be honest, more than worth it. So you can see we're already generating wood again. Alright. So we're going to wait until we have 20 wood. Now that we have 20 wood, we are going to look at health. We need 25 wood, excuse me. So 25 wood, we are going to build a medical post right here. That's why I left that gap between this building and these houses. Because these buildings, similar to SimCity, they have an aura about them. They literally have an aura. So you can see, bam. So what we will do is we will immediately assign 5 engineers to there. Now, all these sick people will go there, and it'll take them a few, maybe days, hopefully just a day, to recover. Alright, now that we have built that, we do need to build another gathering post. So for that, we need 15 wood, which we have. Now, what I could be doing right now, and honestly I should be, but I have forgotten, is I should actually have as many people as possible gathering for me right now. So what I'm going to be gathering is I'm going to be gathering this steel wreckage, this coal pile, and these 2 coal piles. Should have been doing that yesterday. I forgot. Probably somebody upset me in the comments. Alright. So, once again, it's not that cold out there. People should be fine. Food, however, is going to be a concern. So, what do we do about food? Well, we're going to need to build a hunter's hut to actually get the raw resource and then a cookhouse to turn it into something. And so, I'm going to build the cookhouse right here. You see, very close to the generator, so once it upgrades, it will also be within heat, but there's some other plans. Alright, once again, it is free time, but our resources continue to go up because this hut is still working. So immediately, we can go to people. We can start building more of those houses. This is now enough for 50. We just need 30 wood total, and we'll be able to build more than enough tents to get everybody secured. I'm going to try and do that. Now, technically, I did not need to have this thing running all day. I could have had this turned off during the day to save me some coal. Here's the thing, you're only using up like 1 or 6 coal per hour. That's actually not very much right now, so we're not going to worry ourselves too much about it. Now, to this end, let's go ahead and get rid of these children who are working here. We're going to put the children into the cookhouse. Once again, warm building, relatively safe. They should be fine. We do have some engineers. I'm going to pull them out. Actually, we're going to pull everything off these coal piles really quick. We're going to assign some engineers over here. They are less likely to get sick. And continue to focus what workers we do have on these coal piles. A little bit of a... Oh, wait, I have another law available to me. And you should just continue to do these. So I could do soup. That will make hope fall and discontent rise. But soup does make food stretch further. Or we can do sawdust, which makes it stretch even further, but people tend not to like it. So we're going to avoid. Now, what we are going to get is the extended shift. This is similar to the 28-hour shift, but instead of working 24, they work 14. Still causes discontent, but much, much less of it. So we're going to sign that, and we're going to be using that very soon. Alright, new law has passed. Discontent continues to rise, but we should be fine. We are still getting a couple of sick people, but the good news is that... Let's see. I believe... that is enough housing, yes? Yeah, so they're all asleep, so they won't construct until the morning. But we're going to go build those houses up really fast. Boom. We have fulfilled the promise. Discontent goes down. Hope just rose. Normal shifts have begun. We can already see that we are constructing food into food rations. Food rationing is much better. Alright, so then the question is, what do we do next? The next thing we need to do is we need a workshop. This is going to be our research building. The reason I am building everything in this tight little area here will come up soon, but it has to do with heating. So, go ahead and turn that on and wait for some people to actually build the workshop. Now, the engineers that we have will be working in the workshop, but for right now, you know, there's still a heavy emphasis on gathering resources. We spoke about this before. It's safe work. They're probably not going to die, but they could still get hurt. A child got distracted at work and has been injured. The accident was not serious and happened entirely due to the child's carelessness. We could scold the child, which would cause Hope to fall. Or we can give the kid the day off. Hope will rise overall, and he gets the day off. It means we're going to be down a worker for the day, but really, one worker in the kitchen when the kitchen actually has nothing to do right now is fine. We are going to divert the children back to coal. We can blame that one kid for all of that. So, we're going to hit this really quick. Coal pile has become depleted. That is a good sign. Where did that... so we can see the coal pile over here is depleted. What do we have available to harvest? So we have a whole bunch of workers that can just go do that for us. Is great. And we can... let's see, this one is full. We can actually take some of the engineers off of gathering duty and instead put them in the workshop, which allows us to commit to research. So, what are we going to try and get? The first thing we are going to get is actually... oh, there's a lot of choices. I think the first thing we're going to go for is just steam hubs. Steam hubs allow us to heat areas that we wouldn't be able to otherwise, and if we build correctly, they're going to do a lot of work for us. Also, we're immediately going to... let's see, we go for 24-hour workday. Yeah. Immediately putting them on a 24-hour workday to get this research and probably one other started. Now, immediately we can introduce a new law again. As we can do this only 24 hours, we kind of want to do it as soon as we can. I am going to go for the fighting arena, which helps with morale. Get to that a little bit more in a bit. Let's see, can we actually build it now? We could. Once again, you see it has an aura. So we place it there, it'll cover about half of our housing. Seems like a lovely idea. So that will help morale. People will feel a lot better. See, hope goes up. Discontent has dropped. We're all good. So, real quick, just to check. So, we are currently okay on medical, it looks like. So, it is time to start considering new jobs for these people. And the first job we're going to look into is going to be this hunting lodge. Now, to place this hunting lodge, we are just going to drive 14 wood out here. Now you might be going, well, why are you doing that? You have all this space over here. Well, the hunting lodge doesn't really require heat. Let's see, it didn't used to. Let's double check that. Yeah, as they basically go to this building to pack up their gear and leave to go find food out in the outside world, like hunting animals. Because of that, we actually don't have to heat it. We just have to ensure that it stays warm enough to not shut down. Which we will be paying attention to. Oh, we have somebody who wants to say something. Oh, yes. Sir, a woman came forward after we built the workshop. She said that her husband and daughter didn't reach the city with the main group, but she's sure they're still out there. She wants to join the first scout team we'll send out. So we have a mission right now that we need to research and build the beacon. We will do that immediately after getting this heater completed, however. And boom. Okay. So you can see the problem with the hunting house is, my god, does it take a lot of workers. So we are actually just going to assign 15 workers to it, because as you can see, our food rations start at 200. We need food. We're actually going to need more of those houses. Yep, so they want us to now build that beacon. Alright, Steam Hub research is complete, which happens to mean that we could now research the beacon. There is a resource cost to each of these. Now, what is the thing I just got? It's called Steam Hub. So the benefit of the Steam Hub is you put it on roads, and if we actually look at the roads, you can see there's a pipe running through it. That pipe is actually collecting steam from the generator. So what we're going to do is we are just going to put this here. And this will allow us to heat buildings out in this region. However, if we only put... Well, you know, let me show you. It'll actually be better. Because they will still run up and build. It's good. We can see the beacon is in progress. It is now morning. Yes, can we help you? A mother has refused to let her daughter go to work, afraid she'll get injured. We could look the other way this time, but others might see it as unfair. So, once again, exact same thing. We can give her a day off, and hope will rise. So, having done that, we can see over here, we don't have a whole lot of resources left. So, once these resources are fully depleted, we will deconstruct these buildings and redistribute the workers elsewhere. Just throw 3 children over here because they're not doing anything. Well, yeah, there's no food for them to be cooking, so it's better to have them gathering. Alright. You see around the corners, we just hit day 4. The temperature just dropped. Now things are getting colder. Generator is still on and keeping people warm. We can also see the status of some of these gathering posts is getting quite cold, though. So we need to figure out new ways of keeping things warmer. Because we are still eating into our coal, so coal is going to be our next target. We have more research available to us, however. And on this point, we are going to immediately start aiming for a coal thumper. Coal thumper is going to be one of our main means of actually generating coal for the majority of all of this. So you guys are still working. Over here, we have a bunch of people who are starting to get cold. So we are going to pull them off. We are going to redistribute some children with a couple of them there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at tech, and we are going to build a second workshop. More workshops multiplies our research speed, which is something that we need to do. Another thing that we can build out in this area because of the lack of cold. Let's see. That's right. Where are people working right now? So we have some engineers over here who could be doing research. So we'll swap them with workers. Bam. Putting researchers in. Other than that, it looks like pretty much everything is as it should be. Over here, you can see on this timeline here, the temperature is going to rise back up in 2 days, and then we can go get the rest of this coal. Just don't really want to put it there otherwise. The beacon will be our means of exploring the outside world. Alright, this building is now done. Because there are no gatherable resources, we will immediately begin to disassemble it. It then raises the question of what should we build next? Well, that is probably going to be dependent on research. Okay, research is complete. Because we need food, we're going to do food next. After that, we will do what we need to gather wood faster. We'll be able to harvest from these frozen trees at least some resources. Pausing. Let's go fast. Yeah, this is one of those games where you will find yourself hitting the speed up button a lot. Bam! The beacon has been built. We are no longer lost and blind. From now on, people will be able to survive the icy barrens that surround us. You can watch the launching of the beacon. Lots of nice little polish things in this game. Big fan. Yes, now that that is sticking out of the crater, if we have survivors in the area, they'll be able to see it. Excellent. And this is the Frozen Wastes. So this is where our city is. I assume we kind of came up through this passage here, around this, this crevasse, and made a station here. So these are the places we can explore. We can go look for the Lost Expedition, we can go to the Gloomy Cave, and we will unlock a lot of other places. But unfortunately, first, we need a scouting team. So that's taking 5 workers, and it's going to take 5 workers, and it's going to take 40 wood. We cannot use any of that until they come back. We are going to go to this Gloomy Cave first. Second place we'll go is the objective, don't worry. So we can see we still have 15 workers available. We are going to go ahead and continue to work on these coal piles. If people start to get too sick, then we will divert our attention. Yes, game. Yes, I have already begun the search. Thank you. So with that going on, should just be a matter of research completing. Alright, so I don't really want to have them on 14 hours. I think we're going to, though. Yeah. Just for research. Sorry, guys. I know it's not your favorite. I know it's not your favorite. We're also going to do a quick research boost of 24 hours. I know it sucks. At least you're inside and it's warm. We need more food. Yeah, we are starting to get people sick from this gathering. Let's not do that. So with that, we do have some money. We can start building more tents. I'm actually going to do that. Mostly because, let's face it, we are going to get more people. Finally, let's make sure we check something over here. We only want this thing running during working hours, the Steam Hub. So by clicking that, we ensure that it's using far less of the coal. Now, these guys, they're still a little chilly, but otherwise they will be okay because that building is heavily insulated. We are going to go for more research, though. I did say the sawmill was next. I am inclined. I could also go for heaters. I actually don't have any wood, so I'm not going to be researching anything right now. Yeah, so sawmill is next because of the wood problem. So they have begun researching. That's a bad sound. Oh, we may have killed some people with overwork. One of our people died suddenly during an emergency shift. We don't really know what happened, but it's likely to be a heart attack. Alright, ending the shift, ending the damn shift. We are going to get a cemetery to start dealing with the dead then. So what this is we will establish a burial ground that we can lay our dead to rest with dignity and respect. If we go for corpse disposal, we can basically make a snow pile where we store those corpses and we can use them later. But I think with the child labor and the works, let's just go for a cemetery and be kind to the people. Oh, we have one more thing. Yes, people are already working. We're already working on it. Thank you, game. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be part 1 for this week. Do hope that you have enjoyed so far. Hopefully we can find some more engineers. We're actually going to be a little short right now. Definitely going to have to send these guys scouting. Alright, if you have enjoyed, please let me know down in the comments. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button. It does help us grow. Until next time, I have been the Alchemical Rabbit, and we'll see you later.